All right, welcome everybody to today's presentation. As I said, I know Lois is a little familiar with myself and Jono, who are going to be running the presentation today. What we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be taking you through some Zoom fundamentals, what you can do to run your sessions, okay, and how you can use these to work with people in rural communities or more remote communities. And as we were just discussing before I hit record, at the moment with everyone sort of social distanced and staying away potentially from centers and maybe not coming to as many sessions or not attending your sessions, Zoom can be a very important and vital tool. Before we kick off into the slide deck though, what I wouldn't mind doing is just going around each sort of group there. And I'd love to hear, firstly, two things. One, what's your sort of current experience with Zoom? And then two, what is it? Actually, let's make it three things. What's your current experience with Zoom? Two, what are your reservations? And three, what is it you'd like to get out of today? Right? Like, so this session today, we'll run for as long as we need, essentially. But yeah, so they're the three things I'd love to hear from, doesn't need to be from all of you, but it could be as a collective. It could be, like it doesn't need to be individual. It could be as a collective. Have a think about that. So you've got one, what's your experience with Zoom, which should be pretty straightforward. Two, what are your reservations? And three, what you'd like to get out of today. So give yourselves, 60 seconds just to talk amongst yourself. And then I'll stop you. It's 34 past now. I'll stop you at 35 past, thereabouts. Just chat away. Don't worry about putting it on mute. It's all good. Chat away amongst yourself and then figure out those three things. And then we'll reconvene in about 60 seconds. Off you go.
Much the
Companies,
but we've got to talk about our. We're talking about it together.
I think you're talking to them.
No. We're 60 seconds.
Discuss it together. So you come up with those things together. And then you'll tell me.
Yeah, my main reservation is obviously that we need to learn how to do it. But also, I just like being face to face. So there's a bit of a block there, and I don't think.
I've done a little bit.
I think with movement, you need a large stage.
I don't know. I actually ask them about.
Interesting though. I love it. That I can go face to face. The ones that are doing it at home.
Because they are in their own home and they set it.
These are all very capable. Years. If I lose that energy, I'm done.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting, isn't it? Because
All right, we'll cut you off there. So we'll start with who I can see next to me, which is Sarah's group. Sarah's group, firstly, experience with Zoom currently out of 10, is it, 1 to 10?
5.
About a 5?
Yeah, you've had a bit of experience with Zoom.
Yeah, I had a little bit of experience. I was teaching some yoga online.
Beautiful.
Through more courses.
Nice.
But it wasn't to the public, and it wasn't, fully out there.
Yeah, easy. And then the last person in the...
Oh, well, my daughter attempted the other day I managed to connect with her the other day when I was set up everything. That's
Beautiful. All right, easy. And so then as a collective there, reservations with using Zoom?
Pretty much the same gone with.
my people that I teach only a few of them would be interested. They're not interested. They're older.
Yeah. So predominantly not interested.
Yeah.
For me, I think it'd be boring because I like the interaction of a group,
Yeah.
like their energy when you're exercising, but it's good, I guess, to have it,
If you
have the skill.
Yeah.
So
That's what we're trying to
if
get
you
out
need
of
to
today.
do it, you can do it, but it's not going to take over my business.
Yeah. Cool. Easy. And then, so then that's what you want to get out of today is how you can make it a little bit more engaging and a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome. We'll We'll go down now, bottom left to Robin's group. Out of 10, you know, you can throw your hands up with your experience.
I think they're probably a 5.
Bit of 5.
I wouldn't say a 5. Okay, well, 3 to 5.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
So we've only just sort of, I mean, Robin's got a bit more experience, obviously, but yeah, Sherry and I have only really joined a meeting ourselves. We haven't ran one, had an attempt to run one, but
Yeah.
So, and I think the reservations would probably be much the same, that whether participants have got access or, you know, whether they're savvy with computer stuff anyway. And the other thing is also just having internet connection. For a lot of those country areas, they actually don't have internet connection.
Yeah.
Which is an issue. And I guess what we want to get out of it is just a bit more confidence in using the platform, and, you know, how we can reach those people and still keep them engaged in the classes that we're already doing, rather than it being a separate thing and a separate time constraint thing.
Beautiful. Excellent.
Travis, just want to make it clear, I don't believe for exercise classes, so I don't have the skills these ladies have in terms of.
We can't quite hear you, Robin.
I'm just saying that I don't have the skills in terms of exercise class delivery. I'm just a coordinator, so my experience is more administrative.
Yeah, that's all good. We'll throw to Lois, or Lois's group.
Yeah, Lois's group. So how would you rate yourself?
-1 for Zoom. I've done one class, someone else's class.
Yeah. Attended it.
Yes. attended the
Beautiful.
class.
Great. Excellent. That's going to be one of my bits of advice.
I attended one Zoom too, but it wasn't exercise.
That's all right. Same deal.
And Lois, you've run a few things on Zoom, and
Yeah.
This
beauty.
is number 10. She's at 10.
Oh no, I'm not a 10.
You're always learning.
Stop
Nah, you're always learning, right? And
Well, so I was going to say, we can kick Travis out and you can run the show, I think.
yeah,
No. So these girls, it's definitely probably a confidence thing here.
yeah.
Yep.
Look, so before we jump into the slide deck, I want to chat about some of those things that you guys mentioned, because realistically, they were what I was expecting, and realistically, it's understandable. First thing is interest. Look, I'm on the same fence of you guys. Would I want to attend Zoom sessions if I had the choice not to? No. I wouldn't want to attend a Zoom workout session if I had the choice not to. The thing is whether or not you currently have the choice. If you don't have the choice and it's the next best thing, well, it's the next best thing, and let's make do with, and let's just make lemonade out of lemons, right? Like if that's what it is, it's either your clients are going to be attending your Zoom session, or they're sitting at home doing nothing. You know, they're probably not sitting at home watching Netflix. You know, your demographic maybe sitting at home, you know, reading, or, you know, my dad doing his
their lives.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. My dad doing Sudokus and stuff like that, right? That's probably essentially what it is. They're either doing your sessions or they're not, you know? And we all know, and I know from my dad's experience, is your sessions are where he gets community. Your sessions are where he gets to meet but gather with his friends and other people, right? So it's that experience for him to connect with his group. So it's a very important thing, right? So, you know, he's a widower. So for him, it's that experience to get out there and be with those people. So that's where it's important. If that's not available, how else can he connect with people, right? Bear in mind also, with this at the moment, with 3 people on each one, it is also a bit of a different experience compared to if everyone is like Jono and myself. As you guys can see, Jono and myself, we're a bit closer to the camera, where you can see our face a bit clearer. You can probably hear us a bit clearer because there's just less happening. So there's that as well. Boring is the other thing that was brought up. Sessions being boring. Look, it's, you know, whenever you start something, you're never going to be an expert at it. When you start running your sessions, you're not an expert at it. This is no different. There are things that we're going to show you today that can help and help improve the session and help make it more interesting and more engaging. Now, full disclosure here, Jono and myself are not experts in training seniors. Jono may even have a tiny bit of experience. I actually don't have any experience training seniors personally. So Jono's going to run some different drills and activities, and it'll be on you guys a little bit to go, okay, well, how can I adapt this to suit my group? What here can we go, okay, I can take that out, and that's a cool activity that we can plug and play into my group if we're going to run a Zoom session. Internet access is the biggest one, and it's the one that no one can control. I get it. Australia's internet sucks. I think when we're ranked across the world, we're worse than like Afghanistan and places like that. And it's bizarre, and it's incredibly insane that is a statistic that could be possibly true for a country that's been in war for 20 plus years, and more. War for hundreds of years, essentially. How our internet could be worse than theirs, and it's fact, and it's not ideal. So that is one thing that none of us can control, and we just got to make the best. And I think the last thing, I sort of touched on it, I suppose, at the beginning, was the interest from your participants. If you're not interested in it, it's going to be very hard for your participants to be interested in it, firstly. Secondly, if you've got 10 participants, how many of them, think about it as the majority. Maybe you've got 2 of them who are really reluctant, who don't want to do it, but you might have 8 who do. Like, you can't please all of them, but who can you please and who can you help? All right. So that's that interest thing as well. And hopefully after today, you'll get a little bit more confidence. You'll get a little bit more of an experience, and then you'll be able to get your energy up so that you can try and create that interest. And then the final one is the tech savvy one. And I suppose that depends also on your group. It's going to be very hard to get someone online who doesn't have a device. Like, there's not really anything you can do if they don't have a phone, don't have a laptop, don't have a tablet. There's not really much you can do with that, right? And it's the same sort of thing. You've just got to try and make do with what you've got. You might have 1, 2, 3 of your clients who don't have any of that stuff, but maybe you've got 7 who do. And it's just, okay, well, look, at the moment, this is what we need to do. All right. And again, this is not necessarily, you guys might be able to meet in your community centers at the moment with groups of 10 or groups of 20. Socially distanced and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully you may not need to do this too much, but when the time comes, if you do have to do it, or if you've got people who are reluctant to come into sessions, because when we started this Zoom stuff, we started sort of coaching some of this Zoom stuff before we had to. I think sessions had dropped to 5, maybe 10. But what we were getting from feedback from trainers is, no one was coming to the sessions regardless. People were staying away from the sessions. And so of their, they might have had 20 clients, 10 could come to a session, and they were still only getting two people turning up. So you need to cater for the majority of your group, right? And in your demographic, again, I can't, this is something you need to think about yourself. If you've got 10 people currently, or, 6 months ago, you had 10 people attending a session or 20 people attending a session, and fast forward to today, you had 3 people attending a session. What are those other 17 doing? All right. Or, so you need to, maybe of the 20, you've got 17 coming back. Great. Work on those other 3 or provide something for those other 3. So it's something you need to think about with your own demographics and your own audience a little bit as well. But I suppose that's the stuff we want to try and get through today. We want to try and break through that tech savvy barrier, because getting onto Zoom isn't so difficult. All right. We want to break through that interest to help you create some interesting and engaging activities, so it's not so boring. Create interest for your participants as well. And that's essentially what ideally we're going to get covered today. John, anything you want to touch on?
No, I'll just piggyback on Travis. I just agree with everything Travis said. no one's saying that Zoom sessions are better than face-to-face. You know, I think that's the first thing there. It's just like an alternative, right? Hey, some people may not be able to come face-to-face. So, hey, you know, how can we offer this alternative here? In terms of, obviously internet might be one, but apart from that, anything else can be solved. You know, we'll show some engaging activities. So that'll be great. Travis hit the point on the head where, you know, if us as the trainers go in there and we're like, you know, we've got to do Zoom. How bad is it? But, you know, we're just going to do it because we can't do anything else. It's probably not going to be a good session, right? But if we sort of go in there happy, all right, guys, look, we can't do face-to-face. So, hey, here's the next best thing. Let's make it as fun as we can and make it awesome. It's just going to be a better experience there. And same thing with sort of actually interest and technology, because same as my parents as well, right? They were originally, like before COVID, they would have never done a workout on the internet. Never. You know, my mum and my dad, if I'd said to them a year ago, hey, go and, you know, do a workout in front of your computer, no way, right? But during COVID, both of them actually signed up to online exercise programs because they were sitting at home doing nothing, and they actually really, really enjoyed it. So the interest, you may be a bit hesitant at this, people may be a bit hesitant at the start, but better than nothing. And then also just wanted to touch on technology as well. My take on that a little bit is that's almost the way the world is going anyway. You know, it's getting more tech savvy, you know, and I'm sure like even if we compare, I know myself, but probably everyone here as well, you know, you're probably way better than technology than what you were 5-10 years ago, right? Probably would like you may not have been as good as your phone as you are 5-10 years ago. So people are just getting better at technology in general, and also not even like now moving forward, right? You may get some people that like, say that the older people or the seniors in 5-10 years time, they're going to be pretty good at technology. So even if someone's not really good right now, you know, as the future catches up a bit, it will be better. So yeah, just wanted to piggyback off you, Trav.
Beautiful. All
There's
right.
a question.
Yes.
I think Margaret had a question earlier.
Yes, I was wondering, are we also going to be shown how to make payments to do the Zoom, like before you,
Oh,
you can do the Zoom class, but how do you get paid to, it's not a charity.
yeah. Yeah, we'll give you some solutions to that at the end. It wasn't in the presentation. Probably, you know, it's probably a good one to have in there. But yeah, we will run a few while I'm running this. Jono, do you want to maybe while I work through the slide deck, Jono, do you want to maybe get some options prepared for people on the back end?
Yep, easy. Yep.
Come on, Jono, get to work.
Earn those dollars. All right, okay, guys. So you should be able to see my screen now. Everyone's got my little presentation up. So what we're going to be looking at today, like I mentioned, the fundamentals for trainers running Zoom. Bear with me. I'm just going to get rid of my thing so I can see everything. So if you're not familiar, who we are, we're Fitness Education Online. We were established about 6 years ago, 2004. Our company, Fitness Education Online, has over 30 courses now registered with Fitness Australia. Founded by Jono there, who's on the screen.
We want to see that, yeah.
He's got a Bachelor of Exercise Physiology and been in the industry now for probably, 10, 15 years. And myself, I've got a Bachelor's in Education and also been in the industry for over 10 years. You know, my first role in the industry was coaching kids gymnastics, and I was, like 13 at that point. So, you know, theoretically, and I've been sort of in and around fitness and the fitness industry since then. So, you know, 20 something, 25 years there. Yeah, so that's who we are. Basically, if you haven't met us or haven't come across us before, we run one of the largest Facebook groups for personal trainers. All right. We've got almost 13,000 members in this group. So it's a private group specifically for personal trainers. It's the Fitness Education Online community. We run regular webinars on different content. We've got shared user content in there, so people ask questions, people share workouts, all that sort of stuff. Jono's going to throw the link in the chat box if you wanted to grab in and join later on as well, if you haven't. But let's get into the Zoom side of things. So by all means also, if you have a question or you want to, you know, ask anything, please, you know, feel free to put your hand up or, you know, interrupt me, and then I'll get into those questions as well. So let's get into it. So need to know information about Zoom. It is free for users. All right. So as a user, it is completely free. Okay. Now, fairly easy access. You guys, obviously, I suppose you've logged in on Lois, Robin, and Sarah's accounts there. But essentially, you would have been provided with a simple link. You click on that link, and it opens up. All right. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Now, at the moment, it's currently the most popular content share or like video platform. So for us today, we're using Zoom. 10 years ago it was Skype, but Skype disappeared pretty quick. They went into a hole and didn't stay ahead of the market. Zoom has done very well to stay ahead of the market. Now, when it comes to accounts, there are two options. Like I said, it is free for users. Okay, so all of you guys, you don't have to have a paid account or anything like that. But there are two options. There is the free account, and there is also a paid account. With the free account, as the host, I am the host of today's meeting. Okay, so me. As the host, I can run a meeting for 40 minutes for no more than like me and two people. So there'd be three people in the meeting. All right. I couldn't host any more than 40 minutes. Okay. That's the free use. Okay. So if you don't want to sign up and you want to use it for free, and you've got 5 people attending a session, you will have a 40-minute time cap. Now, you can simply exit the meeting and come back into the meeting 5 seconds later. There is no restriction on X amount of meetings a month or X amount of meetings a day. You can come and go as many times as you want. In saying that, would I recommend that if you're going to use Zoom as part of your business moving forward? I would not recommend that as the best option, especially with a demographic who is a bit more reluctant and may have a bit more difficulty getting on, because you don't want to spend the first 10 minutes getting everyone set up and then have half an hour and then kick them off and then get them back in. All right, that you don't want to do that. But it is possible for a free meeting. If you wanted to run a 20-minute workout, perfect. All right, you don't need a paid account if you just want to run a 20-minute workout. Okay, does that make sense? The paid option. Essentially, there's no time limit. So we have a paid account. We can have, I think, up to 100 people tuning in, and we can go forever. All right? No time limit, no restrictions. You have access to record it to the cloud. Now, what that means, I don't really know. I don't know what the cloud is, where the cloud is. All I know is the cloud is up there, and the content gets stored in the ether. So you can record it rather than recording it to your hard drive of your device. It gets recorded to the internet. Yeah, I actually don't use the cloud. So today's recording, I actually put on my computer. I actually don't use the cloud. Then you can also stream it live onto Facebook if you wanted to, as an option. Whether you guys, whether that's relevant for you again is up to you to decide. The benefits of that could be you could stream something like this, share your screen and share it with a broader community if you wanted to as well. And it's about $20 a month, roughly, give or take. So it's a good investment if you're going to be running Zoom sessions and it's something you want to incorporate into your business. It's definitely the better investment of running it. $20 a month is pretty straightforward. All right. Any questions on that? It's just sort of the very basic fundamentals. Beautiful. So inviting to a meeting and starting the meeting. So when you open up Zoom on your device, this is basically what you see on the right-hand side of the screen there. More or less what you see there. There's a bunch of options: home, chat, meetings, contact, new meeting, join, schedule, share, share screen. You don't need to worry about most of them. All right. This is going to be for you if you want to host a meeting. All right. This is what I do. Well, I'm going to share with you how I do it basically. You'd click on meetings across the top, and it then opens up into this screen. All right. There's a bunch of stuff on this screen. I'm going to run through what it all means. You've got a personal meeting ID there, that long number. You can share that with people and they can use that to log in. I don't actually do that. All right. I do it a different way. All right. But that's one option. The other option is you can click copy invitation, and that will copy an invitation for the users. I don't quite use this one either, because when you click copy invitation, I'll show you what they would get. Okay. I do this. So I click show invitation. So I open the show invitation, which is this. This is the invitation. Looks very jargony, which it is. So if you click copy invitation, it would copy and send this. The reason I don't do that is because this is confusing to me. All right. So I go show invitation so I can see this invitation. And then all I do is that is all you need. That part there. That's the only part you need. You only need that link. Okay. So I highlight the link, copy and paste the link, and then I send it to my clients or I send it to people. That's how I sent it to Robin. That's exactly how I do it. That link never changes for your account. It never changes. So you can have that link saved somewhere in a Word document or wherever's easiest for you to access. All right. Or you can just do the, I do this every time. I probably should have it saved somewhere else, but I just do this every time because it's a 10-second thing. Click meetings, open invitation, highlight, copy, paste, send.
You lost us.
All right. So ready? We'll go back. We're back here. I click meetings. Okay. So that's on your home screen of Zoom when you open it. You click meetings. I then click show invitation meeting, which opens this. And then I copy and paste this link. You can then email this. You can text this. You can share it on Facebook. You can share it however you want. All right. Because people can use this link on their phone to access. They can use it from an email to access. And like I said, for your group, they would just use this exact same link every time. So you could share them. You could send this as an email and tell them, hey, save this somewhere important. Our workout is Monday, 10 a.m. and Friday, 10 a.m. This is the link you use every time. All right? Simple. All right? There's nothing else to worry about. Or you can send it every Monday. You can send it every Friday, but it's the same one every time.
I just want to tell everyone that we are actually going to do this ourselves, create our own meetings and through after Travis, after we finish. So, yeah, we will get some practical practice at this today.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can't, you'll do some of this today with the meetings and the inviting and sharing. We'll take you through some of the more technical stuff within Zoom today. We won't take you through this inviting to meetings too much. So that's how you would invite someone to a meeting. Okay. That link never changes. All right. Now, you have other options. I don't use these options. Okay. So I'm just showing you the options so you know. Okay. But I don't use these options. To me, these are more confusing. All right. That link, so you can potentially like glaze over right now and not listen to this, but I just thought I'd share it with you because often people say, oh, how about scheduling a meeting? All right. Because you can schedule a meeting as well. To me, the link is significantly easier. Okay. But I'm going to show you this. You click on schedule meeting. You get all these options here, lots of options. What happens when you schedule a meeting by default is you get a new link every meeting, which is painful. So they need a new link every time, which is painful.
Oh, says no.
Not worth it. But you can override that by selecting that personal ID. That's that number that was in that blue box earlier. You can override it. Instead of selecting the generate automatically there just to the left, you can select personal meeting ID. And then that is how they log in. Again, I wouldn't bother. Just send a link. It's a lot easier. All right. You can give them a passcode and you can set the passcode, whatever, Chegs123 or whatever it might be, right? When you've got that on your home screen here, it shows like this. And you need to click start the scheduled meeting. Where's my circle? There it is. So there's a little circle there that's next to, you know, my scheduled meeting, which is between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. There's my meeting ID. Start. And you need to start that specific meeting or else people can't get in. If you just start a general one, it's again, sharing the link is the easiest way to do it. All right. Make sense? Kind of? Clear as mud? Share the link is the correct answer. So that's to invite someone to the meeting. Okay. Now we're looking at starting a meeting. So when you want to start a meeting, you simply click new meeting. All right. Simple as that. You go on a few minutes earlier, new meeting, your people will come in. Right. Once you're in the meeting, it would look something like what you're seeing now. Okay. Now we're going to go through the different view options. At the moment, your view options are going to be a little bit different because I'm sharing my screen, but I've got the images on my screen, which gives you a bit of an indication. Yeah. So the first view option is this one, which is the gallery view or the Brady Bunch view. I saw a funny meme the other day that was like, how did Brady Bunch have Zoom in the 70s or 80s whenever Brady Bunch was around, right? Because it's the Brady Bunch view. You've got an individual screen for everyone, and that's called the gallery view. Okay. The other option is the speaker view. So it's slightly different option. So if you've got, and this is the other thing, sorry. What you see on your screen and what your clients see on their screen can be completely different. So your client might elect to have it on speaker view whilst you look at it on gallery view. So what you see and what they see are different things. Okay?
I only need to see you.
The gallery view advantages is you can see everyone. It's nice and easy to see everyone. Everyone's got like a bit of a screen and, you know, you can see everyone. At the moment, you'll see like a tiny slither of you know, everyone, I'm guessing, and then my shared screen is what I'm guessing you're seeing. The advantages as the trainer is you can point out people and say, give specific advice, technique, motivation to people. I can point out specifically, because I can see them as a trainer. I can see everyone nice and easy. I can say, hey, Jono, don't get lazy. You know, keep doing your up downs off a chair. Don't get lazy. Lift those knees high, Jono. Nice work. Hey, Robin, that's it. Keep those star jumps up. Off you go. Come on, come on. 10 to go. 3, 2, 1. As a trainer, I can see everyone like that. And it's a valuable tool for a trainer, right? The clients can then see the other participants as well, which is also good. Okay, so the clients can also see the other participants, which is good for community and engagement as well, which we'll share some other stuff about that. Like I said, it enhances a bit of a community feel. Now, where I would use this specifically is the beginning and the end of your sessions, all right? Like where you have everyone in gallery, you chat to everyone, like we did at the beginning before I shared my screen. We went through, we chatted to everyone, we said hello, we found out a few questions off you. That's the same thing I would do with your guys, all right? Gallery disadvantages, it's a small screen. If you've got a small device, it's an even smaller screen, all right? So it's not ideal for the client to see gallery, all right? On the client's perspective.
Can you stop for a second, Travis? Sorry to interrupt. I've lost one room.
Easy. They seem to be dropping in and out a little bit from that room. And you're right. So the internet is the biggest issue. If you've got internet issues, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing Jono can do. There's nothing you can do. All right. Unfortunately.
Just dropped out. One of the rooms.
Anyone want to ask a question at this particular point? Am I going too quick, too slow, just right, hopefully?
Thinking.
Thinking, good.
It's all just mumble jumble, really. Stop mumbling, Travis.
I'll try to speak nice and clear. I used to mumble a lot when I was a kid.
Where's your teacher's voice?
Yeah.
It's not your voice,
It's not
Yeah.
your voice. You're very clear. You're very
Yeah,
clear.
thank you. Yeah, I actually mumble. I had a speech impediment as a kid, and did a lot of speech therapy. And but I think living overseas for a long time made me speak very clear
Yes, very.
when people weren't speaking English, and I had to communicate when they didn't really speak English. So I have I've been told I have a nice clear voice now, which is good from when I was a kid when no one could understand me.
Travis, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
So if you were doing a Zoom class, do you teach anything on Zoom?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
Yeah. So if you were doing a Zoom class and say two of your participants dropped out or they were having an issue, are you expected to stop and help them with that issue? Like that's like, do you just say, too bad for that person and you keep going, or what do you do?
What I would do is it depends on how many people you've got, but I would probably go too bad for that person, unfortunately. But what I wanted to share this with the whole group.
Yeah.
What I would do when you start on Zoom, the first session you have on Zoom, I would not make it a workout session. The first session you have on Zoom, I would do like a trivia night, or like a coffee catch up. And I would play around with Zoom itself so people get familiar. That would be my first session. I wouldn't do a workout straight away. I would just soft entry. Hey guys, we're going to do a Zoom catch up. We're going to have some beers, and we're going to play some trivia.
Oh, our elderly people don't drink beer. Sherry, Sherry, that's what I did. I just had a startup practice session, and I just invited them all in, and we just chatted, and I went through with them a lot of the stuff that Trav's talking about now. I showed them how to switch from gallery view to speaker view. I showed them how to mute and unmute themselves, how to turn their videos on and off. And we went through the absolute very basics. And we still, outside of my sessions, we will just have a group gathering, a virtual coffee session once every couple of weeks as well.
No
so we
shandies?
just around and it's our social.
I'll be having wine and cheese and bickies.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good too. You have it at night and you come in your jammies. You have a jammy party.
Yeah. So hopefully the group down the bottom heard that. When you do your first session, don't do a workout session. Just do a social gathering. Just a social thing. Lois was a coffee social. And up the top in Robin's group, is it Kate?
Always Kate.
No, Sherry. That was Sherry.
It was Sherry. Sherry suggested wine and cheese, which I agree. So, but what I would do is I would do it as a social thing. I would do it, like a trivia thing, something that's fun, something that's just very low entry. And that is about breaking the barrier. And what happens is a lot of people who've done that after our coaching, that's our advice when we work with trainers. What they find is their group then goes, all right, well, when are we going to exercise? Great, let's book it in for tomorrow. So it's sort of that, it breaks that fear. And that is what we've found is that people have gone like, all right, great, I'm not scared of this anymore. And that's what most of this stuff comes down to is fear. Fear of using it, fear of the not being the expert. And again, with your group, own it. I mean, I was a primary school teacher for 5 or 6 years full time, right? And one of the things that I always did, if I didn't know, own it. Like, hey, kids ask a question. You know what? I don't know the answer to that, but let's find out. Let's go and research this and discover that answer. With your group, you don't have to be the expert at Zoom. You are not the Zoom tech wizard. You're the trainer. That's your skill set. Hey guys, I'm new to this. You're new to this. Let's get this going together. Let's learn how to do this together. And let's, because I want to connect with you guys and I want you guys to be able to enjoy the sessions and I want you guys to be able to get some workouts in every week. And I want you guys to be able to connect with each other as well. And this is the other thing we've found is that people, after their Zoom workouts, their groups have been connecting together independently because they haven't been able to see. So they're having little Zoom meetings and Zoom catch-ups independently themselves. So this stuff does happen. So back to the disadvantages here of the gallery, especially for the participants. The participants, Jono doesn't want to see Robin or Lois working out. Jono wants to watch me working out, right? I don't know why. It's a bit weird, Jono, but you know.
We don't go there.
but that's the gallery view. You see everyone, okay? So the bonus of that is maybe you feel a bit self-conscious working out in wherever you're working out, so you feel a bit self-conscious, but you can see everyone's the same. Everyone's working out in front of their bed. Everyone's working out in front of their, you know, whatever it is, right? Or everyone's got their kids running around in the background. So there's that sort of benefit in that respect that everyone's in the same boat. But realistically, they want to be able to see you as the trainer, right? We're going to share some of these options, how they can do that as well, right? So you should have seen in the top right-hand corner, and in the top right-hand corner, this one will say speaker, and that's the button. So if you click on that button, it changes it from currently in gallery to speaker. So that you click that button and it would change it to speaker view, right? So that's in the top right of your screens, yeah. We're going to have some time to workshop some of this stuff afterwards as well, all right? Just curious, are you what devices are you guys on? Laptops or touch tablets? Robin, your group, what are you guys on?
Computer.
Computer, like a desktop? Laptop?
Yeah. No, laptop, sorry. Laptop.
Yeah. Lois?
iPad.
iPad. And Sarah's group?
Laptop.
Laptop, okay. The iPad group may potentially see things a little bit differently based on, I'll touch on some of those things a little bit as well. Yeah, it's just to make things difficult.
The function's there though, it's just in a slightly different place.
Yeah, it's just how you get to it is a bit different sometimes. Sometimes the iPad is more similar to a mobile phone, and I'll touch on some of those things a little bit. But in the Zoom Fundamentals course, I've got a video on mobile phones because it's a bit hard to show. I'll talk about it a little bit today, but there's a video that goes through some of it. So this would be the speaker view, what you see here, right? This is the speaker view. Speaker view, you can see across the top, like a little ribbon. Sometimes that ribbon of videos, so myself, you see Brenda, you see myself again. Sometimes that ribbon of videos might be down on the side. You can move that ribbon of videos to where you want, okay? Speaker advantages, bigger screen, easier to see what's going on. So if you want to watch Brenda, you know, explaining a Spanish lesson, so this is my wife, if you're not familiar, that's my wife. You know, if you want to watch her explaining a Spanish lesson, you can put her up large, there she is, and you can see her. Speaker disadvantages. It changes the highlighted person there depending on who makes the most noise. So this is not ideal, all right? So if you can see in the ribbon across the top, there's a little yellow box around Brenda's name. Can you guys see that yellow box? That means she's the person making the noise, right? And she was the last person to make a noise, and so she's the person who's the highlighted speaker. If I have it on speaker, I would never see myself no matter what. No matter how much I talk, I will never see myself, okay, on a speaker view. So currently, if you guys have a look at your ribbon at the moment, there's probably a yellow box around my name, I'm guessing, because I'm the one speaking. But for me, the yellow box I see is around Lois, because they were the last person to make a noise, all right? So their group, that's who I see at the moment. So that yellow box is also important, probably, because if you're running a session and there's a group that's making, or a person where there's a lot of noise coming, you can sort of see who's making that noise because of the yellow box, all right? So, you know, so you can sort of, if you're running a session and there's a lot of background noise and there's a yellow box around the same person all the time, that's who's making that noise. So you can then put them on mute, okay, which we'll talk about later. So speaker view changes depending on who's making the noise, and as the person who is in speaker view, you will never see yourself, all right? So you'll never see yourself as the highlighted person, okay? So when you're in the meeting, each person, yourself and the people in the meeting, if you go to the top right-hand corner, it's backwards, the top right-hand corner, you'll have 3 little dots on their video, basically, all right? You'll have those 3 little dots. The options when you click on those 3 dots are different if you're the host or if you're a participant. So as a host, I have all these options. Lots of options there. As a participant, you basically only have pin and chat, essentially. I think you can rename yourself, but essentially you've only got pin or chat. As a participant, you cannot choose to spotlight someone. Okay?
Pin video.
Oh.
So when you're the host, you have a lot of different options there. But realistically, the only ones you need to focus on as a host are pin and spotlight. So the only 2 you need to worry about are pin and spotlight. All the other ones, I'm guessing you don't need to kick anyone out from your group for being offensive. You know, like you can remove someone, you can report them. You don't. I'm guessing you don't need to worry about that. We've never had to worry about that. So I'm hoping with your group, you don't have to worry about that. Maybe they get a bit rowdy on your trivia night. All right. So when you pin, the pin looks essentially just like the spotlight. Looks just like the spotlight, except it doesn't change. So again, we're going to play around with these options a bit later. So we'll pin, each other and et cetera, et cetera. But as a pinned person, you can pin yourself, you can pin Robin, you can pin whoever you want. You can pin them, okay? And then that person stays as the large image no matter what. So if you're running a session, you can have them pin you. If you're going to be running the session like a group fitness class, like everyone following along, all right, here we go, follow me. You can have them pin you so they only basically see you, and you can still have the gallery view. All right, so that's where pin will become valuable. Okay, that's very easy. You click on the 3 dots, you click pin. And you'll notice it looks like speaker but never changes. And it only applies to whoever's doing it. So you can do it down in Sarah's group can do it, and Jono can do it, but Robin's group and Lois group don't have to do it. They can have it on gallery. It only applies to the individual who's doing it. Okay? So the clients can pin you, like I said, if you're creating like if you're the person running the session and they want to see you running the session, they can pin you and you run it like a group fitness class. Okay? And they can pin each other, which is also important. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. They can pin each other, which can help create a little bit of extra community and a bit of an extra bond when you pin someone else. And we'll talk about that a little bit.
Quick question, Travis.
Yes.
If you're the host and you want to pin it for them because the clients aren't able to find the option and things, are you able to set it up that they only see you?
Yes. Next option. That's the next option we go through. That's the spotlight option. But right, this is why when you do that first session, these are all the little things I would play around in that first session. So I would do little soft entry of like first session. Hey guys, see those 3 dots in the top corner? Can everyone click on that for me in my video? And I want you guys all to, those highlights come down, everyone click pin. And now you're going to see me. Great. Look, woo, hey, everyone have a drink or whatever it is, right? Now everyone's going to pin Lois. Everyone go to Lois. All right, great. Lois, pin, boom. I would do these sort of soft entry things on your first session, not during a workout session, okay? So they're somewhat familiar with it. And then during that first workout, maybe throw one of them in there. Hey guys, what I want you to do, we're going to have Robin lead the way with today's exercise, and everyone's going to follow along with Robin for the first, the first exercise of star jumps. So can everyone please pin Robin for me? All right, Robin, you got it. You're going to lead the way with our star jumps. Off you go. So that way, as the trainer, you can step away from being the leader. All right. So if you've got someone in your group who you know is competent, you can get people to highlight that person while you then step away and you can come in and watch and go, okay, Nice work, everybody. Keep it up. Keep going, Robin. That's it. We've got 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Great, everybody. So soft entry, okay? And then you can do it for partner work, which we'll talk about a little bit as well. And if you want to I didn't do a circle there. You'll notice in the video there in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you can see a little unpin video button. That's a button. If you click on that, it would unpin the person. So on my screen here, top left, there'd be an unpin on my screen share that you're seeing, okay?
Yeah, there. Just there it says
Yeah.
unpin video.
Yeah, just, I don't know if, can you see my cursor? Just here,
Yeah, there it is.
just there, okay? So you would click that to unpin somebody, all right? The next one is the spotlight option. Now, this is what Sarah was talking about. So as a spotlight option, you can spotlight and everyone sees that. It sort of forces everyone to see that, okay? So this view forces everybody to see that, okay? So you can spotlight yourself, and this makes me the highlighted person for everyone, including yourself, which is the disadvantage of this, because then you would only see everyone as a small image, all right? So this would be the disadvantage of this sort of technique. But in my other example, you then, rather than getting everyone to pin Jono while he's doing his star jumps, you could simply, hey, Jono, I'm going to spotlight you for the next 60 seconds while you do your star jumps. Then you can spotlight Jono, he's doing his star jumps, and then you can then step away and then go in and go, all right, keep it up, everybody. Nice work, Kate. Nice work, Sherry. Keep going. Nice, well done. All right, so you can sort of step away by using the spotlight, okay? Looks like speaker view, but never changes. The participants cannot use a spotlight view. Only the host has that power. Good for highlighting someone. Like I said, if you want someone to sort of take the lead on an exercise, you can spotlight them. And to cancel it, in that little circle there as well.
Yeah.
All right, does that make sense so far? All right. So we're going to look at the options down the bottom. Okay. First option there is the mute button. This is where you would control your sound setting. Okay. If you click on that mute button, comes up with options, and you can choose, you know, computer, audio, computer speakers, headphones. You can have all these different options there. So you can see for me, I'm using the ones that are ticked, which would be, you know, my microphone, which is this one, all right? And then I'm choosing my speakers through my USB audio, which would be these ones, okay? If I clicked the top one and the top one, that's just going to be my standard computer desktop, right? So that's just going to be coming from the sound from the computer, right? So you can play around with that. So that's if you want to use like wireless headphones and stuff like that. This is where you would test it. So what you can then do, now, I wouldn't be doing this when you're in your meeting. This is something that you can do by yourself without anyone in there, okay? So you can just do this alone. So you go test your speaker and microphone, and then it pops up with a, I don't think I did a screenshot, yeah. And it will pop up with an option. It plays some piano music and it says, did you hear that music? You select yes or no, and then you speak. And the next one says, all right, speak into your microphone. And then it's asked, did you hear the replay? Yes or no. So it's pretty straightforward. And then it prompts you through it, okay? So it's pretty straightforward and pretty intuitive. Like it does its own thing, basically, right? And if you just click on the button itself, it would just mute the audio. Okay. The next option is the video option. Okay. Essentially same sort of thing, starts and stops the video. All right. You can choose if you've got if you click the little arrow, see how there's like that little arrow, that's how you open up the bigger box. Okay. So if you open up the bigger box of this one, you can choose, if you're on a laptop, there might be a camera at the front and on the back, or an iPad would have it. So for example, people might choose the front camera, like the selfie camera, or the other camera. So you can choose those options in there as well. But I think it defaults to the one facing you. So you don't really need to worry about it. I've never changed that, for example. But you can start and stop your video there. Okay? Then there's the security button. My highlighting there is a little off. So when you click on the security button, the only real reason you want that is the waiting room. Okay? Zoom, you may have heard, originally had a few issues with some security stuff. So they started implementing a few different options. And the other one they entered is the waiting room. Okay? So currently the waiting room is ticked in this image, which means people can't come into the meeting unless I accept them in. Okay? And that's like a default. If I click that button, people can just come in. All right? Just means they can come in without me accepting them in. Okay? So it's up to you what you want to do. Typically what I do when we're running workshops, I will have that's defaulted on like it was today. I can admit Jono and I can talk to Jono privately. And I'm like, all right, Jono, we're ready to go. Great. I put people in and I turn it off afterwards. So that way, if someone comes 5 minutes into the workout, they can come and join, because they're a bit late. I don't have to then go and accept them in. Okay? They can come and join.
Anyone can.
So the waiting room, I'll show you what it looks like in a second. Actually, it comes up after this. The next thing is the participants and the chat box. So if you click on one of those, it looks like this, okay? This is on the side. You would see this on the side of the video. So this is where the waiting room is. You can admit them to the waiting room, or you can remove them, all right? So if someone's in there, you can accept them or remove them. And you can also see who's in the meeting currently. So in this case, it would have been just me in the meeting.
Yep.
And then below is the chat box. Okay, and so if people want to run in the chat, you can have a chat there as well. All right. Now, once someone joins the meeting, they go there. So as you can see, she goes into the meeting, it's there, and I can see that Brenda's video was off and her microphone was muted. So I can see that as well. All right. That makes sense so far? So next option is, when you're in the meeting, is recording the meeting, okay? When you click on record, you've got two options, on the computer or on the cloud. So on the computer is like on your device, and in the cloud, like I said, up in the internet, okay? If you're on a free version, I don't think you have access to the cloud, or if you do, it's very limited. I don't think you've got access to the cloud on the free version though. Okay.
No access, Trev. No access on free.
Yeah, okay, no access. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, our lucky door prize will be drawn at 12 o'clock today. So you did get on your way.
Winner, chicken dinner, the meat tray.
Ladies?
You're in the draw to win a $30 gift card to use in the club. Club on down to the front desk, grab yourself a ticket.
It's not a meat tray. It's got to be a meat tray.
Do you want a ticket?
It's the green door. Lucky one.
So, so if you've got a free version, you don't have the cloud, you can just record to your computer. Now, and then the last one, there's also reactions and the dots there. Don't even worry about those. All right. The dots would be, if you've got a paid version, the dots would be if you want to stream it onto Facebook, basically. Okay. And then ending a meeting, you click end, and you've got two options: end meeting for all, or leave meeting. If you end it for all as the host, everyone gets kicked out.
Yeah.
If you just leave meeting, everyone can stay and they don't get kicked out. Okay, and it just can continue along. All right. Pretty straightforward.
So they can have a chat. You can go.
Yeah. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is the shared screen option. This is more relevant if you're running a presentation. So you guys probably don't really need to worry about sharing your screen, but again, I'm going to show you. Okay. So when you click shared screen, this is what would come up. All these options. As you can see, I have 1,000 tabs open. That's all the tabs open on my computer. All right. Realistically, all you need to worry about if you were to share your screen is the one in the top left that says screen. And that just shares whatever you've got on your screen, people can see, which is what I'm doing currently. All right? That one. That's the one I would select. Just double click it and you can share your screen. But realistically, as running a session, you guys don't need to worry about that. All right? The other one that is useful sometimes is the whiteboard. This is useful that if you want to run a workout where you have like a list of exercises. So it's like, you know, I think we're going to talk about a deck of cards workout later, maybe like just as an option. You might have, if you've got a hearts, you're doing squats, right? So you could have that written on the whiteboard and people could see that. Okay. But again, I wouldn't use it too much. Right. But it's an option. With all this sort of stuff as well, my advice would be if you want to play around with it, obviously don't do it with your clients in the meeting. Do it with a friend. Do it with another trainer. You've got, 8 of you here today. Grab one of you guys and say, hey, I want to try and play around with this whiteboard. I've got this idea. All right. And this is the biggest one, the biggest question, the biggest problem with Zoom. Sharing sound, like music. It's hard. It's really challenging. And realistically, the only way you can do it properly is if you've got like a proper audio mixer, which costs a couple $100, realistically. Apart from that, it's really challenging. And lots of trainers who wanted to run the best possible sessions when this all happened. So a lot of people in Melbourne, for example, they went off and went, you know what? Well, this is what I've got to do. They went off and ordered their $400 sound mixer. And they're like, well, this is what I'm doing. So it's a tax write-off for me anyway. And I want to have the best sessions possible. So this is what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's really the best way to do it. But I'm going to share with you how you can do it, but I'll share with you some of the problems. All you need to do is tick the box down the bottom there, and it shares whatever's coming out of your computer. So if you have Spotify or you've got some sound on your computer, you tick that box and it plays it just like you're listening to it. All right. Or at the top here, you've got the option that says advanced. You can click that advanced option and it takes you to this screen, which has only like a couple of different options. A new one, there you go. PowerPoint as a virtual background. That's interesting. But you would select music or computer sound only. Okay. And then that would then share whatever my sound is on my computer. You would hear it like it's on your computer. Okay. But the problem with that is like I said, the biggest issue with Zoom is the sound and the music. And there's no simple solution. Like I said, realistically, you've either got to get a mixer. All right. There's no real simple solution. Because what happens is when you share your computer sound, your microphone sound go like the balance between the two is very difficult to get right. And you can't figure it out. You need to have your participants figure it out for you. Because you obviously can't, you can't hear what they hear. So it's very difficult to do without a mixer, which is like, you might be able to download one of those. But like I said, you actually need to be pretty tech savvy for that. Yeah, running the music in the background. So if you just have a speaker running in the background of your session, it can also come across a bit glitchy. I've seen it work really well, but it can come across a bit glitchy, especially if people have like bad internet. So it is an option. And if you want to have your specific music playing, I would try this option first and then get feedback afterwards. Okay, that's like having a speaker. I don't have a speaker with me, but I have a speaker. It plays on right now while I'm still speaking. All right. I've seen it work really well. But like I said, if the internet's a bit glitchy, the sound can be very choppy. All right. Because when you're sharing music, it's got to come through very quickly, right? Like through the internet. Whereas voice, there's a lot less intricacies, obviously. The other option is just encourage clients to listen to their own music if they want to. All right. You can provide them with a list or something, but maybe they just want to listen to their own music. All right. That's the other option. Okay, there's no simple solution for music. Okay, now mobile phones, and this applies to tablets as well sometimes. Now this is not ideal for you as the host or for the participants either, especially I suppose for when you're working with a seniors group where maybe the vision isn't as strong, and you know, like if they're trying to focus on their phone and they've got like a small screen, it's a bit harder. All right, it's essentially a smaller screen to view. Someone using a phone, it will basically look like this. So if you're filming your phone this way, so landscape, it would look like that. So I could see who's using their phone, because see how it's like cropped, the image from Zoom, all right? And if they hold it portrait, it's that way, portrait that way, you can see it's still a bit cropped, okay? Now, for example, this was interesting. Lois, you said you guys were on an iPad. Yours is coming through perfectly fine. So I see yours perfectly normal. I couldn't actually tell you were on an iPad. So sometimes if you're on a tablet, you can tell, but other times you can't. So it could be the age of the iPad, or you know, the age of the tablet, how old it is, how new it is. Because sometimes they act sometimes a little bit more like a mobile phone than they do a computer, right? They've got some different functionality options. So when you're on your phone and stuff like that, you don't, like the 3 dots and all of those things are a bit different. You've got a double tap and stuff like that. It's a little bit more confusing. But in the Zoom Fundamentals course that you guys have access to, I've got some video instructionals on the phone as well. All right. Well, I would encourage people to use a laptop or a larger device. So a larger tablet.
I think from a safety perspective for our clients, and because a lot of them have full vision as well.
Robin, your microphone.
Too close. The other girls look better.
She might be too close.
Try again from there, Robin.
I'm just saying that from
There we go.
Much.
From a safety perspective, like with our client group, I would worry about them using their phone just because the image sizes are so small.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. But in saying that, if they've got no choice, but I agree. That yeah, 100%.
In a decent spot.
As the host, or if anyone's using their phone, I would recommend buying like a tripod like that. Okay. Just makes it a lot easier. So you're not leaning it on anything. You can do it as the host, but obviously it means you can't really see everyone. So if you're doing this as the host, you basically can't see anyone in your meeting. All right? Because it'd be too hard for you. You can be more tech savvy and you can have other things. And a lot of people, what they do, they plug their device into their TV. So they might have a TV in the background and they plug their device into the TV and then they see everyone up on the TV. Okay. Those things are, if you've got new TVs and new devices, that's pretty easy. You just need like an HDMI cable typically. I'm not covering it today, but because it depends on your device and depends on your TV. So, but it is an option. If you wanted to do it, you could share it to your TV and you can have like however big your TV is and you can see everyone on that. Okay. So that is another option for you as well. Okay. So that's the end of the presentation side of things. Let me